What's up, kiddos? IzzyGrae, aka TheGraeman here, back with another episode of Graewatch. Today's hero concept I'm really excited to share with you guys. This time, get ready for a rip-roaring good time. The Western gentleman, the Southern Sheriff of Overwatch, Charles. Before we get into this, I have a few shout-outs that I'd like to quickly do. First and foremost, thank you go out to Chris and Maria over at Hybrid Art. They're responsible for some of the amazing artwork you guys see on both this segment and other things like character creation on my channel. They have been absolutely and incredibly supportive. I've worked with them for going on 2 years at this point, and they've been amazing. Shout-out also go out to my girlfriend, Anna, at MySkyIsRed. Go check her out on all forms of social media and YouTube. She helps with a lot of the editing and a lot of the digital art stuff that you guys will see in my videos. She's been absolutely incredible. She's also the Overwatch guru that I turn to when I'm really working out balancing the abilities and weapons of the guys that you guys see on this channel. She's been completely supportive, and I love her very, very much. Last but certainly not least, thank you go out to BlametheController BTC on YouTube for giving me a sense of direction and inspiring me to keep this segment going. Now, without further ado, let's meet our Western gentleman. Edward Charles was born in the Lone Star State of Texas. As young boys, he and his twin brother William, along with their childhood friend Patrick O'Reilly, dreamed of being men of the law just like their fathers. Unfortunately, tragedy struck the O'Reilly family when Sheriff Sean O'Reilly, Patrick's father, was killed in the line of duty, defending the town alongside his deputy at the time, John Charles. The O'Reilly family fell on hard times, and Patrick turned to a life of petty crime and theft. By the time he was 18, his crimes had gotten pretty serious. The Charles twins began to divide as well. Edward was well on his way to becoming deputy of the town, while William was falling short. One night, Patrick snuck into the Charles family home and convinced William that with the help of a few members of an organization called the Deadlock Gang, they were going to rob the town bank. Patrick and William, along with a woman named Ash, her second-in-command McCree, and 3 other gang members, snuck to a nearby farm and set it on fire. The plan was to keep the fire brigade and sheriff occupied and dealing with the burning barn while they robbed the bank. While setting the fire, the gang was interrupted by Edward. He had heard and seen his brother and O'Reilly sneaking out and followed behind. Now, 1-on-7 doesn't seem like a fair fight, but he kept the gang pinned by sheer anger and sadness. The gunfire and yelling alerted both the fire brigade and the sheriff, and the fight forced the Deadlock crew to back towards the building that they had sought to distract their opponents. During the fight, Patrick and William, along with the rest of the gang, were forced to take cover in the burning building. While inside, the Deadlock gang decided to retreat. In the confusion of the getaway, a collapsing beam pinned Patrick. William tried to free his friend, but could not lift the beam. He was pulled out by his father and brother as Patrick was left behind. William was locked away and left to rot by both his father and brother. Edward was furious that his twin brother would throw away everything for a petty thief. William believed that Edward had betrayed him by imprisoning him. William was busted out by the Deadlock gang a few days later, and thus the most infamous brotherly feud this side of the Mississippi was born. Charles is a pretty standard DPS with normal speed and pretty basic stats. I wanted to make a DPS that was a pretty entry-level DPS character to play. Charles is an entry-level DPS with a basic kit. I wanted to make an entry-level DPS because I feel like a lot of the current DPSs are kind of complicated and hard to play, and I wanted to bring it back to a bit of a simpler time. Charles' primary fire is the Patriot pistol. It comes in 2 models, however, your primary fire is a 7-shooter that has 7 rounds instead of the average 6. Type is a hit scan, damage is 40 to 70 depending on range. Rate of fire is 1 shot per 0.4 seconds, while the reload time is a standard 1.5. It can headshot and it can critical, however, there is a bit of a twist with this gun. One of those 7 rounds is randomized and it is an armor-piercing round. So 2 things can happen when you fire this particular one, and you can plan on timing it and wait because it is random where it is in the barrel. The first thing is it can cut any shield's health in half immediately on contact. So if Reinhardt, Sigma, Zarya pull up one of their shields at full health, you can cut it in half by hitting it with this round. That and or if there is no shield up, whoever gets hit receives 100 damage hit scan, period. I did want a secondary fire that enabled you to dual wield with the 7-shooter as well as the basic 6-shooter. Most of the stats stay the same except for the fall off rate, spread angle, and rate of fire. This mode of fire is only good for short and medium range, whereas the primary fire is good for short to long range. The secondary fire would come in most handy if maybe 2 or 3 enemies come around the corner, or if trying to hold an objective and the entire enemy team comes tearing in all at once at some point. 7 rounds wouldn't cut it, and you need to clear the area quickly. So your 7 rounds are bumped up to 13, obviously, because 7 plus 6 equals 13. That's basic math. The reload time, obviously, I had to bump up a little bit because it would take some time for you to reload 2 revolvers while holding both revolvers. Jarl's first ability is called Ride the Lightning. Type is a projectile and debuff combo. Damage is 50 plus a 1-second stun on top of 2 extra seconds where your speed is decreased by 30%. The stun is a full stun, no movement, attacks, abilities, nothing. Since Charles is high speed, I wanted to give him something to maybe hold a fast-moving target and slow them down a little bit. Some of those characters like Lucio, Genji, and Hanzo are a pain in the butt to hold down, and I really wanted to give him something to really stun those characters and give him a bit of advantage as far as mobility goes. Charles' second ability is Kicking Up Dust. Type is a Vision AoE. Duration is 5 seconds. Area of effect is 10 meters around Charles, and the cooldown is 6 seconds. Charles uses his one-legged jetpack to kick up a huge dust cloud in his immediate area. The only players that can see through this dust cloud is Charles and his deputy. Which, moving right along to the third ability, Charles' third ability is Deputize. Type is a buff. Duration is until said character is killed. Then the cooldown is a full 12 seconds. Basically, you get to deputize another character in your team. The self buff that ups someone's damage input by 25% and also ups their speed by 0.5. However, obviously, the annoying part of this, you can't target. You literally have to make it so that it's in your crosshairs. So if you're aiming for the other McCree to deputize your McCree because you want 2 cowboys on this set that are like ripping for it, and Tracer accidentally runs in front of you as you're throwing the star, Tracer is now your deputy, and you can't call it back. So yeah, that was how I decided to balance that out. And now we move on to Charles's ultimate. The ultimate is called Cyclone. Type is a Vision AoE. Damage is 45 per second, and the duration is 8 seconds. Basically, what happens is you override the one-leg jetpack and become the eye of your own sandstorm tornado. You hover off the ground and are able to control your motion and move around at a speed of 6. You suck opponents in and then spit them back out. 3 rotations inside the cyclone or at its end, and all inside will be flung away from the eye of the storm. Also, while in there, you can't really see, you can't really aim, you can't use a whole lot of your abilities effectively. The only person who can see and can keep their feet throughout this entire thing is Charles's deputy. So if you're deputized and this thing kicks up, you can see through it just fine. Again, at the end of this, just wanted to pop up a quick player's view. Well, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching yet again. Thank you for sticking this one out. Remember, there is Patreon exclusive content at the $5 tier where you can literally come with me and watch the process I used to create Charles in the first place. Thank you again to MySkyIsRed for editing and all of her help. Love you very much, Anna. You're absolutely incredible. Thank you to Chris and Maria over at Hybrid Art for this amazing piece of artwork. Their turnaround time is absolutely insane. Go follow them on social media, ask for a commission, give them some love. They're absolutely amazing. Thank you again to BlametheController for inspiring me to continue this segment going. He really set the bar for what a good hero concept video. Join me over on Overwatch, TheGraeman. I play all the time, obviously, in these trying times. There's not a whole lot we're doing anyways. So feel free, come friend me, like, subscribe, all the rest of that stuff. Follow me on social media. And until next time, you kids know the drill. Be good, and if you can't be good, be safe. And if you can't be safe, make sure that after all the dust is cleared, that they name something after you. Until next time, kiddo. Bye!